How y'all doing, man? This is your boy Jalen here on another episode of Elevated Minds. We've got my mans here, Daniel Fox, Masculinity mentor, and today we've got some pretty good stuff for y'all today. We're going to be talking about things that women get wrong about men. Number one, the first thing we have is that men don't need appreciation. And
I don't know. Yeah, where did this? Who came up with that? Who came up with that?
You know, I'm still trying to figure it out myself, because I've come across a lot of women that a lot of it I feel like is entitlement. They just, this person, these men should be doing these things for me. This is what it should be like. But you know, and I'm someone that loves to do things for my woman or someone I'm dating or things like that. But if I don't feel appreciated, then why would I want to continue if you just think that I'm supposed to do it? And, you know, you don't need to give me a thanks, or it's respect, it's common courtesy. Honestly, if someone did something, if a woman did something for me, I want to show my appreciation because I think that that's awesome. You know what I mean? But I don't know where that where that idea comes from, that men we're just oh yeah, we don't need that, we don't need any appreciation.
Yeah, that we're just good. This is a guess, because like everybody's experience in relationship is different. But if you've been complimented by a woman, you've actually been judged by a woman. A compliment is a positive judgment, so you're being penetrated by her energy.
Wow.
And that is, if you're a masculine man and you're going out in the world, this is what we were talking about with the two dicks no hole thing. Not to come back to that, but you have somebody who's moving forward in the world, and then somebody comes along and they try to penetrate you with their judgment. In this case, it's acknowledgement or a compliment.
Right.
But she's trying to come into your space. Now, this is really, when I first heard about this, I was like, that's weird. I like compliments.
You know why? No, me too.
And then this nuance was introduced to me, which is maybe the biggest compliment, or see how it feels as a masculine man when a woman tells you how she feels instead of judging you and complimenting you.
Right.
So if you do the dishes and she says, let's role play a little bit. You just did the dishes, and I come at you, I'm your woman. I'm like, you did a really good job with the dishes. All right. There's something a little parental, almost a little fatherly about that.
Yeah. She's
judging you, and it's a compliment. But if she comes to you and she says, I feel really relaxed now that the dishes are taken care of. She's reflecting her feelings.
Right.
You took action, and you got a result, an emotional result in your woman.
Yes.
It's a totally different energy.
Whole different energy, man. Like,
yeah, and so like first of all, like people don't walk around understanding that compliments are penetrative and masculine, and so maybe women try to compliment, and the guys just stand there like, this is fucking uncomfortable, you know. And so they stop. Like maybe it's the awkwardness just caused us to stop responding in a way. So then they stopped giving them, you know, and they're like, oh, men don't need acknowledgement. Men don't need compliments.
You know, that actually makes a lot of sense, because actually I've heard a lot of women say they would try to give men compliments and maybe it didn't go so well. Like maybe the guy kind of just blew them off like, what? Or, you know, so because some men actually don't know how to receive compliments. And some people, when they're giving compliments, they might feel awkward because they might not feel okay themselves. And when it comes out, it might not even come out as authentic. And so I think that could even throw some things off. And I think a lot of it's just experience. But yeah, it's pretty crazy that a lot of people don't feel that need, that men do need that. Oh, you know, at the end of the day, we're all humans. We might be different. We're all very different. But at the end of the day, I feel like one of the basic human needs type of thing. It's like it's in a way I feel like it's a form of respect. You know, it's an acknowledgement. I think it's a good thing that men need. Women definitely need it. So I think both parties should be.
Yeah, let's imagine a metaphor here where we go out to a bar, we're hanging out, we're having a couple beers, and I'm like, let's go play some darts. Except the thing about this dart game is that I'm going to blindfold you, and I'm going to give you 3 darts. So you're blindfolded, and you throw those 3 darts, and then you just leave. We just take off. And you're like, what? But how did my dart? Like, did I hit the board? Like,
Right.
How did my dart game go? And that's similar to like when you do something to serve a woman, and she doesn't let you know the result of that, then you're kind of in the dark. And that's really, I think, what we want as a man. Is like, I want to know that I put energy, effort, judgment, wisdom, competence into something that affected the world.
Absolutely.
And if you don't know if it affected her, if she's just like, if she's stoic and flat and doesn't say anything, then you're like, well,
like, what else was, I guess that's it. Like,
yeah. There's no, you don't get to see the result of your work. And the result of your work being like, you want her to relax, to open, to be radiant, to experience joy, positive emotions. And if she doesn't share how it made her feel, then you're like, well, did I just waste a bunch of time? I mean, like, why'd you take me over the dartboard and make me throw darts if I'm not going to know how I did? That's kind of a waste of time.
A huge waste of time. And I feel like us as men, we do need that. If we're doing something, I won't say it's like validation, but it's like feedback. Some type of feedback. Like, okay, is this working? Is this not working? Is it something need to be done better? Am I doing something wrong? Or was it great? I think sometimes when we're doing acts of service and stuff like that, it's the feedback in itself is almost reward in its own.
Yeah, this is so great. Like, when I think about getting feedback for my service, it's like, that's going to help me do better next time. I'm so preoccupied with just doing a better job next time. It's like, it's not a pat on the back, really. It's like, okay, how can I notch this up? How can I ramp it up? How can I continuously improve? Like, that's what I'm preoccupied with.
Yes.
Next, number 2, what you got?
So, the next thing that women get wrong about men, a lot of women think that because they're attractive, that the guy is supposed to deal with all of their BS.
Because she's beautiful, that she can treat a man that she's dating or in a relationship with without respect.
Absolutely.
I mean, that just sounds like a shitty human being, to be honest. I mean, imagine a guy, imagine the roles are reversed for a second. You have a guy who's like good looking, tall, makes a lot of money, and has some social status. And because he walks around and knows that about himself and owns that, he treats his woman like shit. Now, there are people like that, I'm sure,
right,
that just go to their head. But that's just not a good person. That's not a good
literally
man.
Like just a terrible person.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, like, I mean, we could address it, but we're like addressing such immaturity that it's just like, I don't know. I want to hang out there.
Yeah, I've met a lot of women. I've even seen this happen with a lot of women in relationships with some friends that I know, or just people I know in general. And the women would be drop dead gorgeous, beautiful, nice body. But I've seen that they believe that because they are so attractive and this is the best that he can do, I can just act however I want to act. And I see it doesn't happen all the time, but I see it does happen with quite a few women. They use their beauty, they use their looks, they use their body to get what they want, and then want to act as if a man is supposed to just I'm beautiful. That's what I'm bringing. So you have to deal with this. This is what comes with me. This is how I am. And
Now, as you're talking about that, well, I can feel this confidence, but it's almost like a masculine confidence. Like, I got my own thing going on. If you don't get with the program, I'm out. And that's actually like, that more describes a man on his purpose. That's like, he's moving forward in the world.
Right.
And so if, he's the man is judged by what he's able to create. Like, he's judged by his ability to bring results forward in the world. He's judged by his ability to build and to bring people together and to create value.
Right.
If the only thing that she's bringing is the value of her beauty, which, by the way, descends over time, whereas the ability for a man to competently create in the world increases over time because he becomes more competent. Well, that's a rude awakening at some point. Some people would say 29 or 32 or 38 or 49, whatever age you want to put it at, where you look in the mirror and you say, like, oh, the beauty that I was bringing into the world is not as recognized as it was 10, 15 years ago. And at that point, you haven't developed your character as a woman. And so you're just you're walking around in a body that is not as agreed upon as beautiful. And your personality has taken a hit because you've been spoiled for 20 years.
Man, that hit it right on the dot, like nail on the head. Because I think that's the issue with a lot of women, especially when, they're in their early, 20s, mid 20s. I want to say, they say a woman's peak is, in her mid 20s, like 23, 24 type of thing. I notice a lot of women kind of change that as they get older in their 30s and stuff like that, because it is going to be kind of vital. Like, oh, I'm in my window now. I can't act like this now. But I feel that there are men that will just let anything happen because a woman is beautiful. And I feel like there are a lot of men out there that will allow disrespect, that will allow the woman to pretty much run it. Hey, I'm gonna do this, and if you don't like it, then whatever. But you got me, and I'm beautiful. But I have actually been with a woman like that before. Very attractive, very beautiful. Dolled up all the time, gets a lot of attention. But I feel like a lot of men have to realize, to be able to have respect for yourself, you have to be able to walk away. If a woman is going to use that and try to control the relationship, or try to control you, or just try to just be disrespectful, you gotta learn how to walk away. And that's the only way a woman will actually truly be able to respect you, if you know how to walk away.
Yeah, dude. I mean, the thing is, they have something that we don't have. As heterosexual men, we look at ourselves and we go, like, this is not cute. This situation going on here is not beautiful. Like, we judge ourselves. First of all, we're not attracted, as a heterosexual man, I'm not attracted to men. Second of all, I've been in this body now for 42 years. I've seen it go, I know everything that's wrong with it. And I hide it with lighting and good clothes. Like, we don't have an experience of our own beauty, so we seek it outside ourselves. So we find a beautiful woman. We don't have an experience of our own value beyond, like, if we're just looking on the surface and we're just looking at, like, well, I'm not beautiful, so I need some beauty outside myself.
Right.
Well, it's like we discounted our own value as creators and doers and givers of loving service. And that's really where we get to focus. Now, if you look at yourself and you self-reflect and you're like, well, I'm not good at stuff, and I don't serve people with love, and I haven't been able to do anything. Well, that's some harsh reality. Like, go get your house in order, build some self-respect, so that when you do date someone who's beautiful, you do bring that beauty into your life. You know that you're a match for it, because you know that you respect yourself and you're competent and you're able to build it in the world.
I like that. I really like that. And I think men have to definitely realize that beauty is not everything. Beauty, I mean, who doesn't want a beautiful woman? All of us love beautiful women, but that doesn't dictate the invaluable things, because what type of character does she have? Is her values aligned with yours? Is she a people person? Is she kind to people? These types of things, can she be nurturing? Can she be feminine? What are you going to do with a beautiful woman that's super masculine, that's super controlling, that is super jealous, that has all these negative things? Like, guys have to, realize there's more to it than just beauty. And like you said, having that value in yourself so that you can see that and you can start to actually look at these different things with women, look at the different traits, look at the different aspects. Is this, just because this woman is beautiful, is she going to be a good fit for me?
Yeah, awesome.
So another one I got, things that women get wrong about men, is that men don't actually have feelings or emotions.
All right, this one's interesting when we look at it in a polarity lens, because we talked about this last time. Like, we are human beings. We do have a system of emotions and brain chemistry and feelings. But what we do, and this is maybe why people get it confused, why women get it confused, is that a man who is serving his woman will not burden her with his emotions.
Right. Absolutely.
And yeah, of course that's gonna, like, if a masculine man shows up in a relationship and he's like not sharing his emotions, she's gonna maybe assume that he doesn't have them. But it's not true. Like, a healthy man feels things and he gets it handled. He handles it, either he goes and corrects the situation, right? He uses his doing and his competence, and he fixes the thing that made him feel bad.
Exactly.
If he can't do it, then he'll seek counsel in a brotherhood or a mentor, and use those relationships. Because as soon as he uses the romantic relationship to process his emotions, he's depolarizing him. He's becoming the holder of the emotional information, which is the feminine energy. And he's asking his girl to hold space for him, or to counsel him, or to fix him. That's a total inversion, and it's not good. It's not good for her physiology. It's not good for her experience. And it's not good for him.
I totally agree. And, I think there's a lot of men and women that feel, like stoicism, they feel like men shouldn't be so stoic. But the thing is, like you said, when a man shares his emotions with his woman, it's going to turn things different. It's going to turn the whole dynamic around. Women, I feel like they think that they want men to be more emotional. They think they want a man to be more vulnerable and share his feelings and things like that. But the moment he does that, he loses just that little bit of respect, that little bit of masculinity that she, sees him as. And so I think that's where a lot of women get confused, because they think, oh yeah, well, he doesn't show me his feelings. He doesn't show that he's upset. He doesn't show that he's angry. He doesn't show that he's sad. He might be doing the right thing by taking it outside the relationship, talking to the boys, talking to your dad, talking to whoever, somebody else, a mentor or a therapist or someone outside of that. And, I think women actually thank those men. Now, I'm not saying that it's good for men to not have any emotions and try to bottle them up and not share them with someone. Because you need to be getting them out. You don't want to bottle them up, but you just don't want to put that in your relationship with your woman, because it's going to throw everything off balance.
Right, I totally agree. So this is something I have a little model for. It's a 3-layer. I love 3-layer models. So this is another 3-layer. With regard to men and emotion, the lowest level is suppression. You have guys, and this is where a lot of men are. You could say it may be where most men are. They feel something and they shove it down. They were kind of taught that it wasn't safe. This is a little bit of like a toxic 1950s vibe. They hold the emotion in. The level up that you see a lot of women advocating for started opening up with feminism and saying like, okay, well, men can be emotional too. So why don't you share your emotions? And this is where a lot of therapy and counseling and emotional intelligence stuff is. And it's saying, men, share your emotions, focus on your emotions. And that has its own toxicity, because we weren't designed to wallow in the emotional body. We weren't designed to spend time just feeling those things.
Right.
We were designed to level 3, which is we take the emotions and we use them as fuel to fix the world. Like we are doers, and if somebody's like, why are you fixing the world? You say like, well, I felt bad about it. I felt bad that it wasn't how it should have been. If you look at yourself and you say like, well, I'm not very competent, I'm not very attractive, I'm not a match for the kind of woman I want, you could suppress that, and then it just festers, and then you lock off a part of yourself. You could go to therapy and you could express it, and then the therapist can be like, oh, it's okay, you are who you are, like just feel it, just feel your emotions. Or you could fucking change your shit, get your shit together so that you become an attractive man that matches the kind of life that you want, the kind of woman that you want.
That right there, every man needs to really embody that, because we really have the power to create the life you want, be with the type of woman you want, you know, go to the places you want to go to, experience what you want to experience. All of us have that same power, that same ability. It's just what are you going to do? We men are doers, and we have to, you know, that's something that we actually have to get into. We have to get into the practice of, you know, stop being a victim, stop being like, oh, you know, woe is me, what am I going to do? I don't know how to get out of the situation. Like, no, we're doers. There's always a way. And it's in our DNA. That's something that we are created and put on this earth to do. That's one of our roles. So, you know, I think that's something that men gotta really embody. Right.
And so I'll share a little personal story about this, is that I did a podcast yesterday morning, and it was earlier than I expected, so I didn't get to shower. I didn't like set up lights. I didn't do it very well. I posted some of these on my TikTok already, and I'm looking at myself in from this camera angle, which was like, it was a bad angle, a bad light. Fuck, dude. I'm like, my double chin, and I didn't shave, and like I got this gap in my teeth, and like all of this stuff is coming. I'm like, okay, I need to go to the dentist. I need to get a personal trainer. Like, let's update the wardrobe. Let's make sure that like I'm listing all of the things instead of like whining about it. I didn't call my dad up and say like, Dad, I'm ugly. Like I said, okay, there's a list of shit that I got to take care of. You know?
Exactly. That's action. You know, that's you writing it down. You're like, oh, I need to do this. That's being intentional. You know, I think all men need to have this mentality. If there's something that you don't like about yourself, if there's something that's not right in your life, then fix it. You are the only one that can do it. There's no one that's gonna. Superman's not gonna drop out of the sky and be like, "Hey, you need to do this, and I got you. We'll go take you to do this." Like, no one's gonna do that. Maybe if you have some really good friends and they see that you're struggling, they might step in or something. But overall, it's up to you. It's up to you to take control of your life, to be who you want to be, to have the body you want, to have the type of woman you want, have the house you want, whatever. All that is up to you, and it's all about action. We can't sit here, like you said, we can't wallow. We're not designed for that. That's why a lot of men get depressed, because they feel that they're hopeless because they're not taking action. You can't just sit there and just expect things to just change or hope that they'll change. That's BS. Nothing's going to change unless you do it.
This is one of the things about using masculinity as a framework for personal growth that I love, is that it's not just mindset. Like, mindset is foundational. Like, you do have to take responsibility for your life, but then you don't lay back in bed and imagine a good life and attract your good life. Like, that's a foundation. It's part of it. Mm-hmm. Then you have to go learn all of the things that it takes to create that life. So you got to learn nutrition. Like, what do I eat in order to like have the body I want? How do I work out? Like, I actually have to learn how to cook in a way that like doesn't make me fat. Right. I want to be rich. I have to go learn how to make money. How do I learn how to make money? Well, I have to learn how to network to get a mentor to show me how to get that life that I want. And so for masculine personal growth, it is increasing competency in real world, three-dimensional skill sets. And this is really interesting, because women will judge a man for this and say, he's not doing his work. He's not doing his inner work. He's not doing his personal growth work. Well, girl, my personal growth work is learning how to make a fuck ton of money.
You know what I'm saying?
That's changing the world. That's me doing my work.
Yes. Absolutely.
I'm organizing the chaos of the external world. You go organize the chaos of your internal world, because we know it's chaotic. All right. So go into that, and I will go organize this external chaos so that we can, I'm building competency. I'm learning skills. I'm making money. I'm bringing things in. I'm making this chaotic, natural, overgrown forest of a world habitable for us.
Exactly.
As you go inward, and make this internal landscape habitable for our relating and for yourself and for our family.
I totally agree, man. I totally agree. So I got an extra one here. This one I got off of an article, and it was something that men said women get wrong. When women try to make a man jealous with another man.
Oh God! See this. I think you're on you're on immature Twitter right now. Like, what in the world? Like who? So this is just outside of my experience. Either I'm completely blind to it, and I'm just like, I've been naive, right? I've been naive. But who does that to somebody that they care about?
Exactly.
That's so maybe this is just, these are people that I wouldn't hang around.
Wouldn't even be around.
I wouldn't be around them. Yeah, I just don't have any experience with somebody. Either I'm so blind to it that I'm overlooking it, or it's just an immaturity level that's
I honestly feel like it's immaturity, because like a lot of the guys that were in the thread, they were just saying, yeah, women think that, because when you might piss them off or something like that, so they might post a picture with a guy that's just a friend, but they're doing it out of spite, to make you angry, or to make you, and they feel that that's going to actually make the guy want her more, or that's going to actually make the guy be more interested. A lot of the guys were writing like down in the articles, like, no, this is something that women get wrong. Mostly, I'm going to just say it has to be mostly immature women that would do something like this, but they would use that to, get his attention, or they think it's going to make him more attracted to her. I've been in this predicament before, but for me personally, I don't know, I can't speak for other men, but when a woman tries to do that, I'm just not even going to pay it any attention. I'm just going to kind of just brush you off, and I'm just really not going to give you any energy or my time. And a lot of times I feel like it's more of a test. They're trying to test your strength, or try to see try to get a reaction, an emotional reaction from you. When you don't give that, then they're like, that's weird. He didn't throw a fit. He didn't blow my phone up. He didn't show up to my job.
So let's take this, and by the way, I love the non-reactivity, right? That's great. You can just bring your attention somewhere else. Like, right. If it doesn't please, bring your attention to something that pleases you. But if you are feeling something, let's talk about how a mature masculine man would handle a trap like that, or a shit test.
Let's do it.
You might say, hey, I noticed that you posted a picture of you with another guy. Did you want me to see that? Like, just hit it head on with communication and non-reactivity. And then you just say, like, and then if she's like, if she lies to you, and you can sense that, well, that's another thing. But if she's like, yeah, I wanted to make you jealous, and you say, don't do that.
Simple as that. That's it.
Don't do that. It's disrespectful. I want to be connected to you, and when you play games like that, it doesn't do us good. Don't do that. That's kind, centered, loving leadership, and that's our job as men. I think it's probably dumb to expect women to behave perfectly maturely and
right.
not trap and trigger us. So when they do, it's our job to just address it calmly, lovingly, and then lead her into behavior that is connection oriented and not testing or disconnection oriented.
I like that. I think men need to definitely make sure they're stepping into their masculinity for something like this, because anybody that's not, or they might seem like they are, but in a moment like this, it's going to really test you, because it's like, how are you going to do? Are you going to react, or are you going to be non-reactive? Like you said, and address it in a loving, but in a leadership style of way. Like, hey, no, that's not okay. Just don't do that. Like you said, yeah, it's just disrespectful. But there's power in that, in the way that you're controlling your emotions. And she's looking like, wow, this guy is some restraint, because my ex-boyfriend used to flip tables and stuff when I would do stuff like this, or he'd break my phone, or he'd just show up unexpectedly at my house and cuss me out, but handling that differently. And honestly, what I've realized handling that with certain women, I've noticed that's how you can kind of weed out the type of women you do or do not need to be with. Because if women that are immature and want that reaction, they're not going to like that response. They're not going to respond very well. I've seen they don't respond very well to the calm, collected, respectful but stern approach. They don't. How do I know you don't care about me unless you're flipping tables? But that's how you can kind of weed out some of the more toxic, immature type of women. I think for me,
flipping tables is emotional reactivity. This is wounded feminine behavior. If you want to date a wounded feminine person in a man's body, go ahead. That's not me. Like exactly. The yellow brick road toward destruction is to your left.
Oh man, that's too funny.
Hey dude, this has been great. We're gonna catch up soon, and I love it. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, absolutely, man. I appreciate you being on. I gotta do another one. I just appreciate your time. These dialogues they're super dope.
Yeah, awesome. See you, man.
All right, stay elevated, y'all.